time for Kids First. And today I'm speaking with Jonathan Blair about the new film, A Great Awakening. Mr. Blair is known for his roles in I Heard the Bells, Voyage of Gomlin, and Found on South Street. A Great Awakening tells the story of Benjamin Franklin and George Whitefield's unexpected yet impactful 30-year-long friendship and the legacy their trailblazing approach left on American history. Mr. Blair, I love the dynamic between Benjamin Franklin and your character, George Whitefield, in the movie.
Thank you.
What inspired you to tell their story?
The most inspiring thing to me was the fact that I didn't know about it. I couldn't believe that I didn't know that I'd heard the name George Whitefield, but I'd never heard anything more about him, or the Great Awakening for that matter. So I think the fact that they were best friends, they were such close friends, even though they believed different things, I thought, wow, what an exciting story to tell about our history that hasn't been told. So it was super exciting to explore that relationship.
Wow, that's awesome. I love your commitment to George Whitefield. How
Hmm.
did you prepare for such a monumental role?
You said it. He's monumental. And I started to get in my head, I started to get pretty intimidated at first. But then I realized once I started reading George Whitefield's own journals, when he would go out to preach to the crowds, there were some times where he'd feel nervous or he'd feel hoarse, like he wouldn't be able to deliver. But then he'd stop, he'd pray, he'd go, Lord, it's not about me, it's about you. So if you would speak through me. And then he would step into the pulpit, and even though he was afraid, he'd step into the pulpit, he'd look at the crowd, and he'd feel the Lord's hand rest on him, and he'd be able to deliver. So I just thought, okay, Lord, if you can do it for him, you can do it for me. So just trying to get out of my own way, not trust in my own abilities, but allow the Lord to work through me, I thought would be okay. So
Wow, that's so inspiring.
thank you.
What was it like to write and star in the same film?
It was amazing. It was a really unique privilege to get to shape the scenes that I knew I was going to be performing in. So, sometimes as an actor, you feel like a line doesn't quite feel just right. And so I was afforded the ability to be able to shape it to the way it would feel just right for me to deliver it. Um, Particularly with these sermons, most of them are George Whitefield's own words. So that was really fun, just getting to comb through his journals and diaries and sermons and go, okay, like I'm really feeling inspired by this. I think this is the way we should go. So it was amazing. It was a dream come true.
That does sound amazing. But what did you find most challenging about telling this story?
I think what I said earlier, just trying to stay out of my own head and trust the process. A lot of every actor basically has the struggle of staying out of their own head and trusting the process, trusting the director. And I think, yeah, just not getting too concerned, not allowing myself to think too much about my own voice or how I sound or what other people are thinking while I'm on set, and just sort of emptying my mind of all that and focusing on the story, focusing on what the other person across from me is saying to me in the moment. That's always a challenge as an actor, is to be unself-conscious. And so this was a great exercise, this whole filmmaking experience, in getting out of your own head and trusting the process, trusting those around you too.
Wow, I love that. There's a lot of storytelling in this movie. What scene are you most proud of as an actor?
I think I'm most proud of the coal field scene, the scene where Whitfield is out there preaching to the miners in the coal mines. Um, that's a true account from history. So when we read about George Whitfield preaching to these coal miners in his diaries, he says he could see them like black ants coming out of the mines. And he knew that the Holy Spirit had gotten a hold of them when he could see white gutters cutting through the soot on their faces. And just reading that from history and then reading it in the script, I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. How are we ever going to do it justice? And that day on set, we were starting to run out of time. We were starting to run out of daylight. And I thought, okay, Lord, now's the time. Like, I need you. And we actually captured that sermon in one take on the day. So the sermon that you see in the film was the first take that we got. And I think that was absolutely the Lord moving on our behalf. So I'm really proud of that performance. It was pure adrenaline.
Well, that is truly amazing. The costumes and sets are really caught my eye.
Wow.
What input did you have in making them come to life?
I just tried to stay out of the way of the costumers. Those are all brilliant artists, and I know nothing about making costumes. So I was only too happy to allow them to put them on me and to shape them as they will. And, every actor will tell you once you get into the costume for the first time, that's almost the first time that the character really comes to life. When you feel yourself move in a different way because you're wearing a cravat or a certain coat that we don't wear anymore, it just absolutely shapes your movement. And you begin to feel the physicality of the character for the first time. I mean, these costumers, you're right, they were second to none. And it's no wonder that they caught your eye. They did an amazing job.
I just loved them. I'm always excited to hear what it's like behind the scenes. Do you have any interesting stories that happened off camera or on camera?
Oh, absolutely. I think the one that first comes to my mind is when we were filming the scene where Ben Franklin and Whitfield first meet in Ben's print shop. In the film, it takes place at night, but we were also filming overnight. That whole week, we would show up to work at 6 p.m. and then we would wrap at about 6 a.m. when the sun was coming up. And so we were filming that scene late at night. It was probably 3 or 4 a.m. And so we're starting to kind of lose it a little bit. And John Sneed, who plays Ben Franklin, and I are also friends in real life. So we were getting pretty loopy. And all of a sudden, we're like waiting for the lighting crew to change the setup. And John Sneed, who plays Ben Franklin, he was looking down, and we all had makeup on our teeth to help them look a little bit more brown and old and stuff like that of the period. And all of a sudden, John just starts going, "Look at our teeth are brown, our teeth are brown." He just starts singing that, and we both lose it because we're so tired. And all the crew's ready, they're waiting for us, and we just can't like. We try to get it together, and we just ruin take after take, and it was just the best time.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. What is your favorite memory from shooting this movie?
Mm. Oh, there are so many. Um, I think for me personally, I think a standout moment was the coal field. Just how quickly that all came together, how unexpected it was. It was just really satisfying. I think that was the end of the week of shooting as well. We had filmed almost all of the sermons in one week, back to back to back. And so to get to the coal field, that was the end of the week, and we only had one day in that location, so the stakes felt very high. We were all exhausted in the best way when you're doing work that you love. And just to see how it all tied together in the 11th hour, right as the sun went down and we got the shot, and just to feel everybody celebrating, that was definitely a highlight for me.
That was definitely one of my highlights of the movie. I loved that scene.
Wow.
Was there anything unexpected that happened while filming this movie?
I think every time you shoot a scene and it goes well, that's a miracle, you know? Like you expect to get the work done, but yeah, there were so many moments that I couldn't even begin to list every moment where an actor said something a certain way, or a lens flare hit the camera in just the way to give us that magical, you know, flare of light that we weren't planning on. There was just so many things. Yeah, I think just the magic of stepping on set and seeing everybody, it just never gets old. I think it always feels like the first time, so I think I'm pleasantly surprised every time, we show up to set that it still feels as magical as the very first day.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank
Mm.
you, Jonathan Blair, for talking to me today.
Thank you so much. This was an awesome interview.
Thank you, Jonathan Blair, for talking to me today. Be sure to look for A Great Awakening when it opens in theaters, April 3rd, 2026. I'm Adele reporting for Kids First. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss one of my next interviews or those of my amazing team members. Bye!